everyone, and welcome back to the Fab Fatties. I'm Allie.
Alyssa.
I'm Rebecca.
And today we're super excited because we're playing a game together with you guys. It's called We're Not Really Strangers, and yeah, let's go.
Okay, level 1 is perception.
Perception.
So, Rebecca, what is my body language telling you right now?
Your body language is telling me that if I say the wrong thing, you're going to throw that cow at me.
I think you are,
Can we see the cow for reference, please?
Listen, I just threw it at Rebecca for fun before.
And now I'm scared.
It makes it really...
You guys, rest in peace to Alyssa. This is going to be her final episode.
I love this cow. It's a little fidget. Yeah.
Oh.
I threw it. You can't say I'm going to throw it and then...
So I was correct about your body language.
There you go. Okay. You booked it. Here, the next one's for you.
Okay.
Oh, God.
And we just pick who we want to say it to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Allie, let's do it. Mostly because I want to flirt with you. I'm just kidding.
I love that for me.
Okay, fuck me.
Later.
Maintain eye contact for 30 seconds. This is perfect for a podcast. 30 seconds of dead air. What did you notice?
Okay, we'll cut the 30 seconds out, but we're going to do it right now. Ready?
Are we having a staring contest or just...
We're just maintaining eye contact.
Just maintain eye contact for 30 seconds.
Okay, are we allowed to talk? No? Yes.
I don't know. There's no other rules besides maintaining eye contact.
How you doing?
Hey, girl.
Hey. I think we should leave this in.
Alright, I think that was about 30 seconds.
Okay.
I think you both really did look away at some point.
Yeah, I had 2 points where I had to look away.
I did not.
I didn't notice
Yeah,
her.
you did.
I did. I
commit
noticed
to
it.
the bit. What did I notice? That you wanted to flirt with me. And you succeeded.
Yeah.
That you have very pretty eyes.
I mean, obviously, looking at your eyes. Mostly what I noticed is that when you do smile, your eye shape changes. It goes a little ding ding. Like a little...
Oh, like a cat eye.
Yeah, like it does a little...
Draw a cat eye sharp enough to kill a man.
Alright.
Alyssa,
Yeah.
what subject do you think I thrived in at school? And did I fail any?
Okay, so if we're just talking like the core 4, math, English,
Yeah, let's say like high school.
And and history. You threw me off there.
Sorry.
Math, science, English, and history.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did well in English, especially just because like the theater, the performance aspect, the storytelling, and I think you did bad in math and science.
And history. I'm just kidding.
No, actually,
And all the other ones.
I actually think Allie is interested in history.
Oh, for sure.
You would be correct. So
Yeah?
I did very well in English. I did very well in history. Surprisingly, I actually did very well in math. Used to be very good at math. Not anymore. I can't tell you shit about it. Science was not my jam.
Yeah.
It was not my jam. I didn't understand things. I can tell you the most important thing that I know about science is that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I knew it was mitochondria. I knew it was going to be mitochondria.
And that's all I have for you.
Exact same. Like, I always scored higher in math and the SAT and stuff, and it really would piss me off because I focused all on English. And I'm like, how?
Yeah, I wasn't good all around, so.
But you know what? That smile
I know.
really
All right.
takes you far.
Hey everyone, did you know that the Fab Fatties are on Patreon? Yes, we are, and you can follow us for more behind the scenes chaos. We have bloopers, we have Allie raging, we have, me climbing out windows. I don't know, we just have a bunch of crazy stuff over there. Yeah, so you can find us on Patreon. That's P-A-T-R
EON.
.com
/ the Fab Fatties.
P-A-T-E
No.
P-A
P-A-T-R-E-O-N.
That's what I said.
.com / the Fab Fatties.
And we will see you over there.
You have to pick Allie now because you picked me the first time.
I was going to.
I just wanted to say the rules now. We all have to.
This one doesn't work right now. This card literally just says reminder. Let go of your attachment to the outcome. And I felt the need to actually direct that at you, Rebecca. So there you go. There's your little reminder. I'm going to pick another one. How likely am I to go camping? How high maintenance is my setup?
Oof. I feel like you need a fan.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like your setup is a lot less high maintenance than mine. Mine is indoors. So I would say as long as you have a fan and some pretty solid snacks, you know, I mean, definitely a tent. I think you'd go camping.
I have gone camping.
I think you would go camping. I don't
We
think
did
that
it
you
in the
like
middle of the summer.
want to go camping, but I think you could go camping.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I see that in you.
Yeah.
But there has to be some sort of air circulation possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it in the middle of the summer out on the Outer Banks. We were in the dunes and there was no wind. There was no breeze.
That's
It
unacceptable.
was miserable. So yeah, for sure. I feel like I want to be high maintenance because nothing to me sounds fun to like lay in the dirt, but I feel like I could rough it.
I mean, you have
Absolutely
camp counselor energy.
I do.
You do. You do.
That's a compliment.
My
It
idea my idea of camping is like going to a hotel in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like a nice Airbnb in the mountains.
For sure.
I will not.
That's just a vacation, but
I
you know.
don't, I don't fuck with nature.
I know.
Absolutely not.
I was gonna say I go 4-H camp, so I'm in the pit in the middle.
I will pick the bear though.
All right, Alyssa, do I remind you of anyone?
I've actually never thought about that.
Yeah, I thought this was a really interesting question that like would be hard. I am a unique girl.
You really are. We have all day.
I was gonna say I think we're maintaining their 30 seconds mark.
I figured we could just cut the silence.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we're definitely
I'm
going to.
genuinely trying to come up with an
Yeah.
answer.
It can always be aspects of me, I guess.
I know, I was trying to think even like personality trait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think your gentleness and your lack of like you don't love confrontation, like even in last week's episode talking about like food and people making comments and you just being like, yep.
Mhm.
Definitely reminds me a little bit of my mom.
Mhm.
My mom is very gentle and she does not really engage in like things like that either. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit like that.
Okay. That's an interesting question. And I think I'd have a hard time answering it for either of y'all too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've never met anybody like either of you.
There's certain aspects of you that remind me of my sister. My sister's not as outspoken as you and not as passionate about as many subjects as you, but the whole like needing to be heard, needing to be understood, and also like struggling to find people willing to listen to understand is a tough thing. And I think it's
fair.
I think it's literally because you kind of changed this, but she's a bottle or upper
Mm.
and then pop,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that used to be something that you dealt with more
Yeah.
than you deal with now, right?
Yeah.
So like, but also anytime she's ever told me about the pain that she feels or the reason she's upset, it's always made sense to me,
Yeah.
even if we would go about it differently, which I often say to you, like, I understand how you feel about everything. We just would go about it in different ways.
Yeah. Now, Rebecca, I'm going to ask you this question about myself. And I really want you to consider your answer before you answer it.
Let it rip, girl.
Because it's not always yes. Do you think I'm usually early, on time, or late to events? Explain.
Allie, where's the self-awareness?
The self-awareness? Ask me what time I'm going to be at the photo shoot tomorrow.
No, I know because it's a paid gig.
Yeah.
So
We'll show up early for money.
we'll show up late for friendship.
We'll show up on time for food.
We'll look at her maps in the middle of the night to look at traffic patterns. We'll forget that traffic patterns are different around 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
I would say 90% of the time you are late. And
90.
and
Girl,
I would say
98.
all of us struggle with timing in certain places, in certain ways.
I am on time to very
All
important
of us.
things. Ma'am.
All of us.
Mm-mm.
All of us.
Mm-mm.
Where's the self-awareness?
I disagree.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly.
You talking about the confrontation thing? I'm like, I'm not even going to touch it because I just...
I disagree. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Next question?
Oh, is it
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God.
Keep the tea kettle. Excuse me?
Rebecca, Do you think I intimidate others? Why or why not? Thought it was funny after I just throw down for not.
90% of the time.
Well, it's funny because whenever we go and meet new people, you're absolutely way more open and not intimidating. Like you're very like hi, like happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that sense, like part of me is like, oh, you're not intimidating. And I remember there was a point where I was like, oh, like this is gonna happen. Like nothing's gonna happen if I'm here. And I'm almost like, are you sure, girl? Are you sure, girl? You can be intimidating when you need to be, and you can shut shit down when you need to shut shit down. But I think whenever it comes to like every day, because there's really no reason, right?
Yeah.
You're not intimidating in an everyday sense. You're pretty welcoming, inclusive. You're
Yeah.
good about bringing other people into it.
I try.
So I would say that you don't come across as intimidating. I think I come across as more intimidating at first, even though inside of me I'm like,
a gentle little bear.
yeah, and you're like, you know, like I think there's a difference.
What am I like?
I can't do it again,
was
girl.
that?
It only existed one time in my life.
Okay, for our audio listeners, Rebecca did something weird with her arms where she crossed them like she was cool.
I
and
cut a
stuff.
neck.
Oh,
She
she
cut
cut
a
the neck and
Cut
then
the neck.
crossed the arms.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think that you can have an intimidating vibe to like let people know not to fuck with you, but I don't think that there's anything intimidating about your actual vibe. Like your actual you're so welcoming, you're so inclusive, you're so like
On time.
fuck off.
Besides threatening us regularly.
Besides throwing things at us, you know.
I mean,
period.
Being silly, goofy. I'm just a silly, goofy girl.
there's
Yeah.
been very few situations where I've seen you have to,
Yeah.
but I do trust that you will.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I will say, I have been told that I intimidate people. And
Same.
I think some of it is a cultural thing, like because I am loud and
Sure.
I talk fast and I'm outspoken, and like that's what life was in New York. You know, like
Yeah.
you had to talk up to be involved.
I could see a
So I
shy
think
person
some-
maybe being a little nervous about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that sometimes people are like, "Whoa, that's a lot," and I'm like, "I am." But yeah, I try to also take. My dad told me I felt at one point at work that I was really getting taken advantage of by some people, and my dad looked at me and goes, "Sometimes you just need to let people know who they're fucking with,"
Mm-hmm.
and I really was like, "All right, bet." People at work started laughing because I started saying it all the time because I was literally trying to hype myself up, being like, "Sometimes you gotta put people in their place."
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to let your best friends know that they're safe in your company. So, I thank you. I think that was a nice compliment.
I'm going to direct this to you and I'll do Allie next time. How many speeding tickets do you think I've gotten in my life?
Ooh. Interesting. This is a difficult question. What I know about Rebecca is that she is responsible. I also know Rebecca spends a lot of time in her car, and she does drive long distances.
Don't forget, Rebecca loves that express lane.
I know she does love that express lane.
I've had to break up with it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she can go faster, right? With less people around her. So I do think I know for a fact you've had to at least have gotten one. I think I'm just trying to figure out how many is too many. Oh, gosh, how many years have you been driving now?
Since I was 16, so 20 years.
20 years. Yeah, okay. 20 years. One a year would be crazy odds. You'd lose your license. So
Yeah.
we're definitely less than 20. I feel like you're a little bit of a timid driver for the first couple of years you get on the road. So I'll give like a little leeway there. I'm going to go for 7.
I've gotten 0 speeding tickets.
Damn it!
But I will say I have gotten 1 ticket. Any guesses on what the 1 ticket is that I got?
Yeah, parking somewhere you weren't supposed to.
Oh, actually, I've gotten plenty of parking citations on campus, which doesn't really count. I just pay the university and it goes away. Yeah.
You should not be paying the university.
No, I know. I already paid to park there. I've quit that habit. I've gotten 1 ticket from a police officer one time.
4.
Did you have a headlight out?
Texting.
For they had just changed a right turn lane to no turn on red.
Oh.
And they had a sign. I didn't see it. There was no turn on red. And I made sure
What a rule breaker.
my mom one time got a ticket for not stopping fully at a red light and turning. So like I was like, oh, there's a cop behind me. I'm gonna stop fully. I'm gonna look both ways, and then I'm gonna turn. And it was a freaking no turn on red light.
Dang. I went high then with my guess.
Yeah.
7. Dang.
What does Alyssa,
Yeah, queen.
for you to answer this question, you should know that our Fab Fatties logo is my phone wallpaper.
I
Okay.
do know that.
Cool. Alyssa, what does my phone wallpaper tell you about me?
You're for the fat girls.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I am due for a wallpaper change. Mine's been this same picture of Lucky for like a long time now, and I noticed that Billy changed his the other day to a different picture of Lucky, and I was like, I think it's time for me to make ours our logo. You don't even have like the high quality version of it set as your background. It was like one of the first original ones. Allie went, wallpaper.
I literally do. I have on my lock screen, I have our logo with the heart, and then on my home screen, I have my logo with the kiss.
Love.
I love it.
Listen, she says her favorite show is Us, and she means it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. 100%.
All right, I think it's time to move to level 2.
All right, level 2. Tell us what level 2 is.
Connection.
Connection.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna ask this one to Rebecca.
Do it.
Rebecca, what's your mother's name? And the most beautiful.
It took me a second.
Oh my god, Alyssa, you're fucking hilarious. I'm gonna ask this one to Rebecca. Alyssa, that's a very good choice.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can't recover. Okay. Rebecca, what's your mother's name and the most beautiful thing about her?
Okay. So my mother's name is Carolyn.
Carolyn.
I always wanted a daughter named Caroline.
Oh.
The most beautiful thing about my mother, well, there's 2 things. And one of them I get mad at her about, but I still think it's a beautiful thing about her. She won't let me shit talk people to her.
Oh.
Like when I'm mad at like
What
my
is that
sibling,
like?
when I know, when I'm like mad at my siblings or like, I don't know, like I want to be like, they're being selfish. No offense, siblings. She's like, we just don't know what's going on in their lives. Da da da. She just won't entertain it. She won't entertain it, and good on her for keeping her,
100%.
what is it called, she was being impartial to the situations for us to figure out. But every once in a while, I want her to be like, yeah, they are being a jerk, but she's not going to.
I love that for you.
So yeah, I do love her I love that about her. I admire that about her, even though sometimes I want her shit talk. And then the other thing I love about her is she's always been someone who is way more like insular than me. Like I like community. She's very she's very introspective. She does a lot of stuff solo, okay? And but she always explores her interests. So like she loves to read. She's a writer. She's written. And then she goes and like she publishes. She's been published in books. She's had a BBC radio like live reading of one of her short stories on the
Wow.
BBC.
Cool.
She was in a textbook in the UK for one of her stories. Like
Okay.
she writes and she puts it out there. Right now, her thing is that like she got interested in paint, so she's just exploring painting, and every day she just explores some new technique or new thing. She played around with art, and like she really just lets herself play with it and see what comes of it.
Yeah.
And she shares it, which I think is something that I get from her too, that I also admire. Like she's less community driven than me, but she still wants to share herself with
Connect.
others and connect, and I definitely get that from her. And I love that aspect of us.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I love that.
I can't wait to meet her. That was my hint to say, take me home to the family.
Okay.
Just saying.
They do live on the lake.
I know.
It's nice.
All right, this is a deep one.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever told someone I love you but didn't mean it? If so, why? And we don't have to do it if you don't want to.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think every time I've said I love you to someone, I meant it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I look back now to some people I've said I love you to, and I'm not just specifically talking about family, like, this week has been very eye-opening to me. I've had people reach out and be like, "But I love you. So why can't we still be friends?"
Yeah.
Politics. That's why. But I think that I've said I love you in situations and circles that I felt I wasn't necessarily super accepted into, but like everybody's like, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't think it was actually love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
On a way lighter note,
Yeah.
but I have to share. Billy and I first started seeing each other, and it was kind of casual, and then it was formal, and we were dating. But Billy was living in New York City at his aunt's house, aunt and uncle's house, because he was working at Hunter College, and I was then staying on, on the island at my house. So he was commuting back and forth on the weekends. So we would Zoom a lot at night, which it wasn't Zoom at the time; it was Skype. We were Skyping to date myself. Well, Billy and I had just made it official. We were talking. We go to hang up one night, and he goes, "It's probably like 1 weekend today." And he's like, "All right, I love you."
Aw.
And I literally went, "I love you too," and hung up. And hung up. Like, you could tell he wasn't thinking. Like, he just like felt the moment and said it.
Yeah.
And that I will think is beautiful. But he literally called me on the phone right after we hung up. He's like, "I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said it." I was like, "No, it's fine. It's just a little too soon. I wasn't ready to say it yet." And I wanted to share. We've talked.
I love that.
I don't feel like I'm sure I've done it in other more serious situations, but that one, it was just putting Billy on blast a little bit,
I love
because
that.
Billy said, "I love you first."
Well, I love that. It actually made me think of, and not to put James on blast, but James was the first boyfriend, guy I've been with, whatever, was the first one to say it first, which was a big thing for me. As much as I feel like I can come off as someone who's just very intimidating and I don't know. I do think I'm intimidating. And
I think all of us have been called intimidating at some point in our lives.
Yeah. Or bitchy, maybe, whatever. But I do have a lot of love to give, and I have I don't know that I've been in love as many times as I've loved someone, you know? But I've had one, two, three boyfriend slash ex-husband who I said I love you to, and I said it first. My very first one, unfortunately, was I had been telling him I loved him for like probably a good 6 months, and it wasn't until after I aborted his child that he was like, "Well, I guess, I love you." So that was awesome. But yeah, James was the first one that said it to me first, and I know that it's not like, a badge of honor that, like, the guy says it to you first, so it means something, but it meant something to me.
Yeah.
And it was cute because, like, he said that, like, he let it slip because he actually, in a text message, he called me love. And that to him was like saying it. And then when we actually, like, because remember, we met on the internet, right? So it actually wasn't until we like met in person that he actually said it.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, he was like, "But I already told you." I was like, "Well, you called me love." He's like, "No, but I love you." I'm like, "I love you too." All right, Rebecca.
You're trying to figure out who to ask.
Yeah, I really am, because I feel like I know your answer.
So maybe go with hers.
Yeah. Alyssa, what are you more afraid of? Failure or success? And why? And when I say success, like, just imagine all your dreams coming true.
I think I'm not trying to cop out of this. But I think I'm genuinely indifferent right now. And let me explain why. Something that often comes up in conversations in therapy and in recovery is being fearful of what the future looks like when I am healthy. Because I don't have the coping mechanisms that I was using to literally just get by. So there is a fear of letting go of some of the toxic behaviors and hurtful things I do to myself, because like that's how I have self-regulated. And when I think about fully being like recovered, I am genuinely afraid. However, that would be me being successful, right? Is like getting to a place where I'm not engaging in this,
Sure.
right? So I think in one aspect of that, I know I want to succeed. I know I want it. I know that's what I'm working towards. I'm motivated for it. And yet I know I am fearful of what that looks like. So when I talk about failure and success, failure for me is living in my eating disorder. That is also scary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to live like that.
Yeah.
I want to succeed, and I am still afraid of it. So I think there's been a big aspect of one step at a time. Now, that is answering this question in the way that feels most honest to my life right now.
Yeah, that's
But I
okay.
feel like this question can also be interpreted like career-wise. And I will also say, for the first time in my life, I am not working a job that I'm like super proud of, that I don't define myself with. I'm working a job, I get paid, and I'm more interested in the things I'm doing outside of my job.
Sure.
There was a time in my life where I thought the only definition of success was through career.
Yeah.
And like right now, I you've heard me joke like my lazy girl job. Not that I'm lazy on the job, it's just it doesn't take everything from me.
Yeah.
I have way more to give at the end of the workday.
Yeah.
So could I be pushing myself career-wise for more success? Sure, I could. But am I happy right now? Yeah. Way happier than I have been,
Yeah.
even when I was in a successful, job, something that I was really proud of and defined myself with. So I think there's just fear regardless.
Sure.
But I think what I'm trying to do is focus on what feels right. And what feels right now is showing up for myself in these ways.
I think that makes so much sense. I think I feel similarly. And also like failure used to be what drove me
Yes.
because I was terrified. I was terrified of failing because I was so attached to outcomes and I was so attached to other people's perception of me.
And proving worth, right?
Yes,
And value.
exactly.
Yeah.
And as I've grown and the more I learn, failure is just not a concept to me anymore. You either you in anything that you do, like any chance that you take, anything that you try, like you succeed or you learn. Like I haven't been successful at everything that I've done, but I've learned, right? And like it just growing up in my house, there was just such an emphasis on succeeding and being, this pinnacle of worth.
Yeah.
And having the best grades and the best career and the best bank account and the best marriage and which turned out nobody in my house had. But yeah.
What did you think my answer was going to be?
Let me look at the question again.
Fear of failure
Yeah,
or
I'm actually
success?
interested too.
Success.
Yeah, I would say like my answer was going to be I was fearful of both, but definitely fearful of both. I'm not willing to dream like y'all are.
Yeah.
In certain ways, like I'm not willing to like visualize it or even assume it'll happen based off hard work. And I don't know if that's me protecting disappointment or what. But I certainly expect to live a smaller life. Smaller in the sense of like opportunity or success.
No, I understand that.
And I'm happy to like reach the middle ground versus like really push to get to the upper parts. But I related a lot to what you talked about like I defined success around career for a long time and it didn't serve me,
Yeah.
But failure absolutely like, and it's not failure of self. I literally am scared of losing stability. Yeah.
I understand that.
And so that's absolutely motivating me in lots of ways because that is my fear. That it's not so much failing, it's losing what I feel I need to be stable. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm really proud of my answer because I felt like that really showed a lot of growth for me.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. Who did I ask before?
I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, I asked Rebecca. So let's see. This card is calling Allie out.
Oh no.
When you're asked how you are, how often do you answer truthfully?
Oh shit.
Goddamn. This game hates me. 50% of the time.
Allie.
Right. I answer you two truthfully.
Allie.
50% of the time.
There we go. Like, how dare you lie to our listeners and our viewers?
She eventually gets there. She just needs a couple more questions.
Yeah, you know, I need to be led there.
But it requires us knowing you enough to be like,
That's fair.
we're not taking that answer.
That's fair. And honestly, I don't feel safe around everyone to tell them
100%.
how I am, right? And I also like I can't tell a stranger, right? Like I'm doing really fucking bad. You want to know why? Like it's not that I can't, but like somebody coming up and be like, "How are you?" Like, fine. You know, I don't think that's a lie. I'm not
I
great.
don't think that's a lie in that situation.
Right.
You do a lot of skirting.
Well, it's interesting because I think part of it is, here's my self-diagnosis. Are you ready? I don't necessarily, I think part of it is, does Allie have the desire to talk about it? Does Allie feel like she's being a burden by bringing up the reality
Ding,
of
ding,
it?
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
But I also think skirting it makes it hard to talk about what's actually happening, right? So like, does it serve you all the time to hide it? No. Does it then maybe like take people to kind of scoop it out of you? Yeah. But yeah, I again, I understand why.
I mean, you definitely hit the nail on the head there. I very much struggle with feeling like a burden because I was taught that having feelings made me a burden. I mean, I literally, viewers, listeners, if you don't know this, 3 weeks ago, I had feelings and I was kicked out of my mother's house. So, which I don't know that we've,
I don't think
everybody
we've
knows this,
yeah, I don't
but
know
like,
we put it on our, well, no, you put it on your own channels, but unless they
yeah.
look at it, they don't know.
Long story short, I was living with my mother for the past year and some change because I got a divorce and divorces are expensive. And I just wanted out of my marriage so much that I said, "Hey, you can have everything. I just want to go." And that was not smart. I realized that. So I went to my mom's house and that was also not smart. But it was, survival mode. And yeah, it was exactly like my childhood. And I had feelings and trying to communicate my feelings um, made me the villain. And I was kicked out. So yeah, it is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to say how I'm feeling because I literally, like growing up as a kid, I learned that my survival was contingent on not having feelings, right? And 3 weeks ago, it was proven again.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard for me to be super open all the time. And it's hard even with you two, as much as I love you and I trust you beyond the ends of the earth. I was supposed to trust my parents.
Yeah.
You know? It was hard.
Yeah, for sure. This card just says, admit something.
Oh.
Ooh. I like this one.
Can I admit something real quick?
Yeah.
In my household, GD it was the ultimate swear word that you never ever said. So the fact that y'all say it cracks me up. And every time my internal kid goes, you have to say that word.
Oh my God, I love knowing that. I'm going to say it more. This feels juicy.
Yeah. And I'm going to share it, but I actually don't know if I want it to be in the episode.
Okay.
You know how when we first sat down, I looked at you guys and was like, hey, can we do a time check after? Because I wanted to share something. But I also am afraid to share it because I'm like not really ready to talk about it. So I've been like kind of sitting, oh fuck. I don't know if I want to do it.
Well, we absolutely don't have to do it on camera.
No, I know. I'm just trying to feel my way through right now.
Alyssa?
Yeah.
Can we be honest about who I am as a person? Now that you've opened this can of worms, I'm going to keep asking you about it, so we might as well.
She doesn't like mysteries.
No, I know. And it's not anything with us. It was some stuff that came up in therapy this week. And I genuinely am still really processing through it. I'm still journaling about it. And okay, what I will admit is I had a gosh, it's so cheesy to say like breakthrough moment, but there's some of these moments in
If you
therapy.
say cliche and breakthrough and like and cheesy and like it's fucking okay to be cheesy or cliche. Go
I
for
know
it.
it physically hurts me.
The internal cringe is there.
The internal cringe is so hard for me. It was really truly one of those like moments where you don't realize how impactful it is until it happened.
Mhm.
And I just was like rambling on in therapy, and all of a sudden I like said something, and we just stopped, and we looked at each other, and Chelsea went, "That feels really big," and honest to God, just started bawling my eyes out.
Mhm.
So I had a really big moment in therapy this week that has been hard to process. I know you want me to say more. I can't say more right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to come up with something else to admit on camera that's like a full
I mean, I think that's fine.
cohesive
I
thought.
think we know you had a breakthrough. I think it's fine. You had something that, so you said like the breakthrough like really like makes you cringe inside.
Mhm.
In learning education, what we call them is thresholds.
Oh.
And we can think of it almost like a door. And once we have the realization, it's hard to go back the other way.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's a perspective shifting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
thing.
Rebecca. Yes.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable because it can make you view actions differently, can make you view what people say to you differently, can make you view
Yes.
your past experiences differently. It is altering. You can't go back to the door.
Rebecca.
And so,
Mm.
well, that's not unexpected. But I think that word might be helpful to you because, gosh, my aunt was talking to me about the election. Okay.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how upsetting it was to know people in her life voted the other way from her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know how to handle this. And I said, my aunt, 8 years ago, same. And you were the one voting for that.
Yeah.
And it is,
Wow.
and once you, and I said that basically for her to be like, because right now she's like, how do these people I love think this? How do these people I love do this? And I said, you were someone I loved and you voted that way 8 years ago.
Wow.
And it can feel like, oh, I have to disconnect everything. Like it can feel life shattering. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was in the throes of that and I had to kind of work through it because I was through the threshold.
Mhm.
I couldn't see their actions differently than I had seen it at that before then. And it is a lot to work through because you are going to view things differently now.
Yes.
And then it's a making peace with whatever that might be, right? For her situation specifically of like, these are my siblings, these are my loved ones, how do I feel about this?
Mhm.
But we can't control when we go through it, and not everyone goes through the threshold with us, right? And that's what makes it complicated work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very timely.
Mhm.
So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
I think that's where I've been stuck's not the right word. Standing,
Mhm.
is just like this all happened, and then now what?
Yeah.
Like, now what do you physically do with it?
Mhm.
What makes those moments so uncomfortable to me is like life's the same, but life is different at the same time,
Yes!
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So life is the same, and yet life is different because, again, the awareness is now there, right?
Yeah.
The lens has either been removed or added on,
Mm-hmm.
and it just is.
It's wild. Like I literally said the same thing earlier this week. It's like nothing has changed and everything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of something like a little silly to admit, like,
A little fun thing to admit.
yeah.
Can you tell the listeners how you like to torture me? I'm just kidding.
Okay. I'll admit the Mary Kate bit. It was a bit. I knew you said Mary
Babe,
Kay.
I know.
I knew you said Mary Kay. I thought it was funny. I went, and Ashley? And I'm still glad I did it.
I didn't know it was a bit.
It was a bit.
It was so good though.
I didn't know. I literally was jaw on the floor.
No, when it happened, oh my God, incredible. Watching it back, I was like, oh, she did that.
It took me filming with you 3+ months
To get my sense of humor.
to get that you were playing into stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I literally would just be like flabbergasted.
See, that's
Really?
another
Yeah.
reason too, Alyssa, why I don't let you get away with calling yourself dumb. I don't.
I know.
Because
'Cause
you're
I do
so
lean
fucking
into it
quick on that
I know,
shit.
I know.
You really are. You really are.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So there you go. That's my
Oh, it's my
admittance.
turn.
Oh.
Did you look at it?
I did
She
not.
cheated.
I
She
saw there
cheated.
was multiple
She
words on there. That's all I
Stop the
saw.
steal. All right. This is the same. What's your father's name? And tell me.
Oh,
What.
don't do that,
This would have
Tucker.
been a good one for me. Somebody take this and hold it for me.
No, I think we're going to have to move to
Yeah,
Oh
we're
no,
moving
you're
on
right.
next
You're right. You're
round.
right.
We can always play this game
Level
on
2.
Patreon. Little plug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's time for
Ooh.
level 3 after this one.
Rebecca. What are you still trying to prove to yourself?
That card wound itself up, and that card just punched you in the face.
I would have gone to you, but you need a break.
I did a little. Ooh, Rebecca, you just got sucker punched. Can you say it one more time?
Rebecca, what are you still trying to prove to yourself?
It's funny because you called me responsible. I'm still trying to prove to myself that I'm a responsible adult. I fail with that a lot.
You what?
I fail with that a lot.
You
I-
learn.
Yeah, I mean, I think I both get angry at it and other things. Like I always am like, I'm so independent, but I'm not. I'm dependent in a lot of ways on certain things, especially financially. And there is some aspect of that troubles me inside. It could be the autonomy thing. It could be wanting privacy thing. It could be a lot of stuff. And perhaps just because at work I was seen as so responsible that I'm like, at home I'm not as responsible. Whatever. Like I also don't want to be a robot that like is perfect at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me of the question.
What are you still trying to prove to yourself?
What am I trying to prove to myself? I don't know. I don't know. I think there's times that I try to prove that I'm an attractive person and like worthy of a sexual gaze. I think there's times that I try to tell myself I'm cool. Proving, the thing that's like really struggling with me lately is like I'm really struggling with people pointing out my anxiety and willing to own it. Like I think there's a part of me that doesn't want to own that I'm an anxious person, that it might like people can tell. There's a part that I've always been like, oh, I'm anxious, but like in a cool way. And now I'm like, I don't know. There's
into
something
that
there
shit.
about like, yeah. But I don't know if that's proving anything. I don't know.
I learned in
It's
therapy
okay.
this week that I don't know is usually a placeholder,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to follow the thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I saw it in your eyes that you do know and that you're afraid to actually admit it.
I will say this much.
Hey, Kettle.
The proving to myself part has not been articulated in my thoughts. I don't have a thought that I can
Yeah.
immediately pull.
Mhm.
I think I've always felt like I'm an independent person who's successful. And I'm struggling with that. And I'm struggling with knowing that like family and friends know I don't have it all together, and me wanting that for myself. Like there's very much like I don't like admitting that I don't have it together financially.
Shame.
Yeah, it's very shame driven, and I'm linking that to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say proving I seem to want to prove to myself that I'm an independent adult.
Mm.
And at the same time I want to buy mystery toys and play Pokemon Go
And just get a little
and
treat.
be a kid.
I don't know if this is going to help at all, but I know I've shared on the podcast before that I had a tumultuous relationship with my dad, as much as I love him so much. But I have a lot of financial trauma because of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up thinking that my dad was the most financially savvy person, the most financially savvy adult, knew everything, had all of his shit together. And then he died. And turns out he didn't have a goddamn thing together.
Mm-hmm.
Was he an adult? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he live a life worth living? I think so.
It's one of those things again where like I wouldn't apply it to other people, but
Yeah.
internally for myself it's a
my God.
struggle point. Yeah.
We talked about that in our episode.
Yeah,
It's like I
yeah.
don't think those things about other people. I think about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perception. It's feeling that shame, but I think just understanding that first of all we live in a very greedy capitalist society, and like I think people who aren't struggling financially right now are Elon Musk, so and Taylor Swift. But like
We can't all be Taylor Swift.
we can't. We'd love to
I
be.
wish I could be.
Honestly,
No, I want to be her dancer, Cam.
same. Honestly, same. She just seems to be so fun to be around.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to the third round.
Last round.
Last round.
And we'll see how deep these are. We might just do one question each. We'll see.
It's one. It's
Okay.
like a wrap up. I feel it. This is the
And what
reflection.
Okay.
What do I need to hear right now? I know. I really do have it all together.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm the therapy vet in here, so.
Alyssa, you know what you need to hear right now?
What?
That humor doesn't have to cover up everything.
Kettle?
I know.
Kettle?
I know.
Really? Coming at me.
I know.
Can't come at me if your ground is shaking.
Yeah, I'm thinking two things.
Tell.
Okay, one is you sometimes want to keep things close to the vest until you've fully fledged it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to have thoughts that you're like, I'm working on this. It doesn't have to, I don't
Yes.
have to fully own it yet. Like that's life, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one. Two, other people's thoughts are not insults to you. Meaning, when I say something like, or I don't even say it and I just look at the thing to make sure the thing doesn't get turned off with the SD card in it, I'm not insulting your intelligence.
I know you
I
will.
have a fear response.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't say it because I think you're.
You said you gotta trust me.
Yes.
It's not an insult to my trust.
It's her not trusting technology.
It is fear of me being out of control does not mean I don't trust you to do the process.
Mm.
And when we say like you're late sometimes, it's a fact without judgment.
It's not a fact. It's not a fact.
It's not an insult to who you are as a person.
I know because it doesn't happen. I'm dying on this hill.
I know. And I love that for you.
Yeah.
Telling you, I've only been late when it's been work stuff. And I've like texted like running late from this meeting.
Well, we never said you never communicated about being late.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm a prompt girl.
I agree with the first thing Rebecca said. Very much. Very much. Yeah. And
I know we digress.
yeah.
Because Rebecca really wanted to call around to tell everyone that I'm late.
You know, it wasn't that. It's more so I feel like sometimes things that I do that are just part of my way of working get taken as insult, not just by you, Jordan too. Like I literally was like, get the charger for your phone for my car, and he's like, I wasn't going to forget it. Like he got offended.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I think when that is the most true is when it comes to the podcast work stuff.
Mhm.
Like I said to you before, you talk about how hard it is to edit. I do feel like that is a little bit of I feel like I take it in a way of like, oh, I don't think I can do it.
Mhm.
Right? Like I judge my capabilities based off of like that statement.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think you're saying I can't do it,
Mhm.
but I start to doubt my abilities based off of what you're saying because of how I view you.
I don't doubt your abilities. I do doubt your laptop.
Yeah, I told her that too.
Really fucking fair.
Oh, this one's silly.
Are you upset? Do you want another one?
Yeah, but let me tell you what this says about you on another one.
Okay.
If we were in a band, what would our name be?
Oh, the Fab Fatties.
Fab Fatties.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously.
obviously.
Coming to a recording studio near you.
What answer of mine made you light up?
Oh, talking about your mom.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Carolyn, you're a gem.
I liked learning that about your mom.
And I loved that you were like, I hate this about her, but it also is what the thing I love about her. Because I relate to that with my mom. Sometimes I'm like, Mom, can you just like hold a boundary and like yell at someone? But also she's like the gentlest soul.
All right, last question, y'all.
Last question. I'm going to go with the less safe one. Okay. What do you think my defining characteristic would be?
Ooh.
You can't say my boobs.
I mean, that's easy for me.
Oh, really?
Your sense of justice. Now, the hard part is, again, not everyone agrees on what justice means
That's
and
fair.
what is just.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the thing that drives you in almost everything, every situation. And it also allows that whenever you do maybe get in your moment fight or flight response, when you back down, you do try to view it from other people's point of view.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not stalling because I don't have a thought like that. I'm like empty. I'm stalling because I'm afraid of not saying this the right way, and I'm afraid. So I have felt that there are times when I truly feel like there's no noise and it's like Allie. And I don't know how else to describe that moment other than like I truly feel like I see all of you and your personality and it's not any outside noise. And then there's other times when like I think it's a lot of like you reacting to outside noise. And I'm trying to figure out a way to say the characteristic, like the trait of when I feel like you are most showing up as your authentic self. And I don't know how I would label it because it's a feeling. Like I feel like there's a genuine feeling I have when I feel like you are fully present as yourself in the moment.
Damn, I thought somebody was just gonna say how funny I am.
No.
Well, it does make me think, like, what's my answer for each of you, both of you? I do think because her sense of justice is one of her main motivating factors,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you are responsive to others a lot does mean that you are often in a response mode
Yes.
versus, just sharing for whatever reason, right? And so, like, right now with the election stuff, you are in response mode, and
Yes.
it's fine.
No, it's not wrong.
It's not wrong. It is, but that is what we see, right? We
Yeah.
see, and again, I think that justice and your values from
Mhm.
justice is what's showing up because you are responding to the elements around you, and you're very affected by what's around you, the empathy, etc. So it's very rare that there's
super fun all the time.
no. I'm sure it's exhausting. Like I don't think it's very often that you can shut out the noise, and you admitted that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Um.
I'll keep brainstorming on like what the word is, but I genuinely know the feeling of sometimes I'm like I don't know. I feel like what you're saying is yeah.
mhm. When it comes to you,
Oh,
I kind of wanted to do it for each of us, and then end it here.
okay.
Defining characteristic. LOL. I
If
said I
it's
wanted
not
to.
chaos, I don't want it. I know it's up there. It's up there. I will say what my top 5 strengths.
No, you can't tell us.
Oh,
You can tell us after. I would say it's your ability to communicate.
that's my top strength.
I love that.
My second one is what I think Rebecca's working towards. She just doesn't have the word.
All right. No, I think that's your superpower.
I'm a wooer.
Is your ability to communicate.
I was going to say compassion. Now, I think that you're like, you can be compassionate with a hard edge. You can be
Yeah.
compassionate with throwing objects. Okay.
Did everybody but herself.
But you know that about yourself. You know that you can say everyone deserves space, and you struggle to say I deserve space. You're very inclusive minded. Yeah. So I would, and that to me is more compassion, and you tend to.
Rebecca, what are you doing with your lip?
you tend to want to rationalize how others are feeling and why they feel the way they feel.
Yeah.
What are your top 5 strengths?
I honestly don't remember, but I do know that communication is my first one. Woo is my second one. And I think those are defining.
AKA you're a hype girl.
Yeah.
Hell
I think
yeah.
those are like defining characteristics about myself. I know I'm also a developer. I don't remember the other words. I can look though. It's on my desk in the other room. So
Rebecca.
Really, I just wanted to do everyone because I wanted to see what y'all would say about me.
I know.
I think that your defining characteristic would be.
I literally was gonna say anxiety, then I was like, no, she's not gonna find it funny.
No, I think how much you care.
I don't care about nobody.
Okay. Good try. Good try. I think you care so much. Not like that you care what people think of you so much, that you care blah blah blah. Like you care about people, and you care about people closest to you. And And I say that in a way that's like you care about, the words that come out of your mouth. You care about your actions. You understand that, we all as human beings affect each other. And you have a very profound understanding of that. And you care.
I think you are so intelligent.
Mm.
And what I the way I'm making a mess because I've got nervous. The way I view your intelligence is I feel like you use it in a way to connect and understand people. And I don't know what you call that as a character trait, but I think you are really good about connection and empathy and community. And I think you use your intelligence to do those things. Does that make sense?
The hand airplane
Thank
really,
you.
really drove it home for me.
Listen, I'm happy with what y'all said about me. So
Well, listen,
Great, we love that.
we're not really strangers.
Hardly.
We're fat.
we're fab.
And we're best friends.
We'll see you next time.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.